Okay, we're on now.
Yeah, we've been on.
Oh, hey, what's happening, everybody? They just watch. I'm just chatting away. Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Ike from Flipside Music, and welcome to What the Fact. And I am here with
Dylan.
and we're doing the thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Thursday thing. Sorry, a little late. You know how we do it. Sometimes things happen, and I was chatting, and that's what goes on. So, yeah. So this week, what is the topic du jour?
Jacob had a couple.
The one, Bill Finnegan bringing
Oh.
a lawsuit against
Finnegan versus Behringer.
versus Uli.
Yeah.
Versus Uli. Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously this time it's not about the circuit since that's not how that stuff goes. It's about, how it looks, using their font, using their logo, using their everything, pretty much.
So was that just rolled out I didn't see it.
It was.
No, it's been the
yesterday
last couple
or
days,
2 days
yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
And it's just about that one pedal in regards to that one thing?
Yep.
Yeah, because they're basically completely, it's not just that they're making a pedal that's like it, they're literally like making it look exactly like it. It's just smaller apparently, but they're using everything else. Like the box looks like it, the layout's the same, the knobs are the same, the logo's the same, the font's the same.
Oh.
Yeah.
They
So-
didn't even try.
They didn't even try to not rip it
Yeah.
off?
No, I mean, yeah, it's just,
They're like,
it's
oh,
a
it's just
blatant-
smaller. I don't think you can. I mean, that doesn't work, right? Because then that would be like,
I don't
hey,
think that's-
I can make an exact replica
Yeah.
of a Les Paul and just make it 1/2 millimeter smaller.
Smaller in that,
And it's
yeah.
fine?
Yeah, because that's the whole thing. It's the trade dress. That's like the thing you can sue over. Is all that stuff Dylan just mentioned.
Yeah, like all the unique things that basically make it what it is in terms of the way it. Because what's interesting to me with pedals is that you can't copyright a circuit.
Because it's like a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, cheeseburger's a cheeseburger. And
Yeah. Yeah, so to me, like, I do find that interesting because, like, it's one of those things where, like, I would say the pedal industry was, I don't know, almost self-policing, at least in the early phases. Whereas, like, I would say now with, like, the prevalence of these copy companies, now all this litigation shit is happening. It used to just be people had baseline respect for other people.
Well, it was, but also the industry wasn't at the level that it was. So
Yeah.
it was, a dozen companies doing a thing.
Who all
Which-
knew
which-
each other too.
Which probably knew each other, but they're also all trying to be themselves.
Well, yeah, we
You know,
have this
therefore
weird
they're-
race for the bottom with some of these.
Yeah, but then once you
Yeah.
get companies that are just there for the commodity sake of it, when you get like, we all know the companies that are like that,
Like Behringer.
like
Yeah.
Behringer, where it's like just take the other shit and call it something else. But I mean, we've seen it with pedals like from Moore. They've had some original stuff too, ish, but a lot of their stuff is, it's based on a Rat or it's it's their clone, or if you will, of a Rat, or
Like Demon Effects.
or
is a really big-
Blues Driver, or
Yeah,
Tube
Demon Effects is a
Screamer,
bad culprit when it comes to like stealing fonts, appearance, like it looks, very close. I mean, there's like we've even had a few customers that have bought things from them not really realizing that that's what it was. Because like to me, that's when you're stepping over a line. Is if it's so damn close that you're literally deceiving people, then that's too. And I mean, granted, people they're gonna on the other side of that, people would throw around saying that it's their fault if they get deceived, but really it's not. Like, if you're going to those lengths...
You kind of didn't help them.
Yeah, if you're going to those
not get
lengths...
deceived.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like if you make everything look exactly like what it is... I mean, it's like anything else. It's like counterfeits in any other... Well, that would be... In any other business, that would be a counterfeit.
Right.
And that would not be... that would not be like... Because it's weird, like in the pedal industry, I guess counterfeits technically are somewhat par for the course. But like we were saying, I think the line is when you make it look like it. Whereas if it's
I mean,
if
it's
it's
almost
just
an
your
exact-
version of it, then
Your
that's what
version
I-
is one thing,
yeah.
but an exact replica, essentially, is another thing.
Yeah.
Oh, we just made it a little bit smaller? I mean, you can't go make Boss pedals.
Right.
No.
You can't just
Well,
go
it's
make
even
those
like,
things and
Didn't
then,
they sue Behringer initially?
They did, and I think it was because of the design. Like the design of the Behringer pedals is more or less obviously like
And
a
that's when they went
copy
to
of the
plastic
yeah.
enclosures.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was just I think that's how that started, and I know like Electro, they ended up suing more at one point, but that's the only time it's come up, at least in recent memory, where it was more specifically about the insides being too similar.
Which one was that?
I think it was like the Pure Octave. That was because it was basically just a blatant rip off of wasn't the Pitchfork. I guess it might have just been like the regular Micropog or something.
It was
but-
the Micropog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they have a patent on it.
Right. Because that one was like a design patent, whereas like most like regular like overdrive circuits and things, I think, are the ones that are not like you can't copyright them because it's like it'd be like
It's like a hamburger.
Well, yeah, it'd be like, yeah, exactly.
Like I'm making
yeah.
a cheeseburger.
Right. Yeah, it'd be like copywriting the fundamental thing that is what it like
The fact that the is
yeah. Depends on what your definition of the word is.
It's like you just suing over the is, man.
No, mine goes dun, 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 dun.
Right.
Yeah.
His goes dun 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 dun. Ours goes dun 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 dun. See? Sure. Whatever you say, Ice. Whatever you say, Caucasian Ice.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's where the line is, and I mean, to me, like I don't know, like bit by bit, I have like not cared for Behringer just as it goes on, but it's like this one's one where like this is like a step too far. I think it's like I mean I feel like it's kind of you know because again people are kind of talking like Bill Finnegan's obviously not trying to necessarily get restitution for this. It's more just to protect his.
Yeah, I mean,
because like they're really at that point, like they're stealing. It'd be like stealing somebody's appearance. I mean, it's really not that different.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like to me, like I think it's they open themselves up to it knowingly by doing that. But the way they skirt out of things is obviously like China doesn't have any enforcement laws when it comes to intellectual property, so that's why he gets away with most of what he does.
And Uli is a interesting character, to say the least. Anybody that knows anything about the guy, or Behringer, or any of that. Bugera, isn't Bugera part of that? So, Behringer, Bugera, and a few TC Electronics, TC Helicon. You know, I mean, the big thing that aggravated with me, and I'm sure this resonates with you, is that, you know, we used to carry TC.
Yeah.
And we liked it because they sold.
Well, it's a company
And then
we
all
still
of a
get a lot
sudden-
of demand for that. Like we have to.
We
keep
still have
explaining.
people that ask us about TC stuff, and you know, like just it was like, hey, it's a Wednesday. We're not doing business with any of our dealers, any of our small dealers anymore. We're just going to sell to Shitwater and Amazon.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, then F you then.
Well, yeah, especially when the smaller
I mean,
dealers.
it's just kind of a dick thing.
Well, yeah,
it's
especially
just
when the smaller
difficult
dealers
when
are
like,
what built that business up.
yeah, small
you know,
dealers
yeah.
help build the thing, and then you know, they just leave us. So you built up a business on our backs and then left us adrift.
High and dry.
Yeah, I mean, there's another company that kind of did a very similar thing, but they were
Yeah.
a much smaller company, and I can
The scale
I
for
can
that
give a
is
little bit more
yeah.
grace to that
Yeah.
because I can understand it as a company, as a small business. It still stung a little bit, but you know, I can understand it more as a small business because they're a smaller business than
Yes.
us. But still, like I said, that stung a little still.
Yeah.
But on a larger scale, you know, when you've been doing it for 20 some odd years or more, and you have a huge dealer network and people are doing fine with the brand, and then you just pull the rug out from everybody, I mean, it's kind of a dick move.
Mhm.
It's quite dickish.
It is.
So,
Well, and they've been fucking around for a minute now, and we're in the find out phase.
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, yeah, because they've been pushing that boundary for quite a while now. I mean, them and Warm Audio. I mean, that's another one that's like doing kind of a very similar thing. Warm Audio, I guess, where I would say at least with them, they're not fully like they're taking the look by and large and the circuit more or less. They're not exactly going for the full on like the font, the name, the whole
Right.
like the whole thing.
And their whole thing, as I understood it, or understand it, is they're only doing things that are no longer available.
Yeah, like they're remaking things that are just not made anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which that I can actually get along with. And again, like having an homage to something is one thing. Completely stealing the look, the font, cause especially like when it comes to the design of things, like that's a pretty personal thing to the people that make it. So
Oh,
like that's
definitely.
really like that's a
Well,
really
it's like the Thorpe thing. Like,
Yeah.
remember when we had,
Mhm.
you know, Thorpe has a very unique pedal design.
Yeah, you instantly know it's a Thorpe just by the looking
By
at it.
looking at
Yeah.
it, which for those of you that are listening, we'll have Thorpe in at some point, probably sooner than later.
Yeah, actually, they're a tie-in with the two companies we have on the table
Yeah,
right
so
now.
that's kind of but we worked with a company years ago that made pedals, and this was COVID times ish, and then I remember because I spoke to somebody and like he asked if he could use like their kind of design, and they're like, no, it's our shit, and he did it anyway.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, what an asshole move. No,
Double if
Yeah,
you asked.
I don't-
to.
You asked, and then you
I don't think
knowingly
he's in
just-
business
yeah.
anymore. I haven't looked for him in a long time
No.
because he went a little overboard on politics,
Yes.
and I think a lot of people were just like, dude, what the, you know.
Yeah, what were you thinking?
Yeah, well, but
yeah.
I look at it going, listen, we sell stuff. People have different opinions. The store itself has zero opinion.
On anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, this store has no opinion on politics. We have opinions.
right.
I don't need to share that. I just need to. We sell gear to whoever wants to buy gear. I'd like to know your opinion on gear so that we can get you into the right thing. I don't
Yes.
need your opinion on the rest of the shit. That's for everybody else to figure out. You know, we can interject with, you know, how certain things may affect us, but we're not going to go start waving anybody's flag. You know, well, except for the United States flag. That's the only America. America. Yeah. But anyway, because I just think it's bad business, personally.
Yeah.
But anyway, he went real political, and then I don't know what happened, but it was also a dick move to steal the design, basically, of the pedal.
Well, to
It was
knowingly
from-
do it and then
And ask and say,
Yeah.
get told no, and then do it anyway.
right.
Yeah.
That's pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a really cool guitar you designed. I like that. Can I make one just like that? No, man, that's my guitar. And then just go out and build
Right.
one the same style. You're gonna get a little bit of hate from that. Somebody's gonna think you're a dick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Well,
that-
and then I mean, I'm sorry, I was gonna say that I guess that kind of, I don't know. Now that we're getting into it, I'm like, I guess I do have different opinions for different things. I mean, everything's multifaceted, obviously.
Yeah,
But now
no-
that like
nothing
now
is
that you're
ever
bringing
black
up,
and white,
well, because
you
all
know?
of us really love, you know, like the Grecos and Orville's and
Yeah.
you know the old Ibanez stuff and like
Yeah.
and like now that I think about it, I mean, technically that's not really any different. It's just one of those things of like, I don't know, I guess. But again, they weren't stealing the name. It really is the look.
It was the look, but
yeah.
but it was also not patented.
Well, yeah,
Or
but
something to
infringing
that-
on
but
somebody's
it was-
name is
yeah.
different. Like, yes, like taking their name or
Some
the
of
name
that
of their
was,
product
though,
is-
I think, well, the lawsuit stuff with Ibanez is one thing. I think the Greco stuff, there was ties with Fender back then. Now, I'm not 100% sure with that, because the Matsumoto factory turned into Fujigen, which turned into
well,
Fender.
yeah,
So eventually they all got.
Eventually, it all kind of worked out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I see where you're going, like,
well, yeah,
you
because
know,
like
in the
especially
first
like
place,
the really,
yeah.
because like the really good Grecos and Bernies. Like, I mean, honestly, like some of those I would even take over some Gibsons.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
some of them are incredible
Yeah.
guitars, and so that's one of those things of like they still don't have the name, but yeah, everything else about it more or less is a copy, and I guess that gets back into like the thing. But to me, I guess where it passes the line is when it is basically a counterfeit.
Well,
and to
yeah.
me, like counterfeit is when
If
you're
it's a
knowingly
counterfeit-
trying to deceive people into thinking that this thing is this other thing when it's not.
right.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, I mean, if you're making, like you said, the clone of the circuit is one thing, because you can't do much with that. If you
That's
make a
aggressive.
similar looking pedal or it's the same color, I don't think that's being completely deceptive. But if you're making a pedal that is almost an exact replica, now it's like you're trying to deceive, because at that point, if you're making a replica, it's either should be in a museum or nothing else.
Or again, even like boutique things, like there are certain artists where like the guitar, like Iommi for instance, like some of the guitars he wanted at one point just didn't exist, so he had to have other makers basically make their versions of Gibsons so that he would have something that was more or less comparable. Now he did have some Gibsons, but the idea was that he wanted something that was purposefully made for a left-handed person. And it's one of those things again where like basically the whole design is pretty much based on a Gibson, but it's not, to me, like that's not deceiving when it's a handcrafted, one of a kind thing.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, like that's a different when you're getting a boutique maker to make something, or even like like you just said, like if you have another maker that's making their version of something, as long as it's not infringing on the way the thing looks. Because I mean, to me, like with graphic design, that'd be the same thing. Like if you took a graphic designer's logo or their font style or any of that stuff, like you're knowingly taking something that was pretty personal to that person.
There is some intellectual property
Yeah.
there, though. Like that, if it's a unique font,
Yeah.
that is kind of your thing. You've
Right.
created it out of nothing.
Oh, that's your font.
That's
Yeah.
your font.
Yeah.
As far as a guitar that's been around for 70 years,
Right.
I mean, there is some public domain stuff at some point. I don't know all the laws with all that shit. But it's also, you can change a little bit. It could be close.
Well, it's like
But it's
Fender has
not,
the
you're not
years of-
trying,
yeah.
it's like Texas Toast guys are building me an SG. It's got the
Mm-hmm.
TTG headstock on it. It's not a Gibson. It's very similar, but
Right.
it's not in that, because that's what they're, it's kind of how we worked it out. But it's clearly not a Gibson. So if
Right.
anybody sees me playing it, and you will eventually, you're gonna know it's not
Yeah.
a Gibson. So there's that. But there again, that's where you might run into it with the Greco stuff going, well, it says Greco, it doesn't say
Right.
Fender.
Right.
Now, how close all the specs were to those back then is a different story too, because
Well, yeah.
some of those had different neck profiles.
Oh,
Well,
my
and even-
SG's a bolt-on.
Yeah.
My Greco SG's a
Yeah.
bolt-on.
Well,
Some
and
stuff,
even-
you know what I mean? And there's neck profiles that I've played of similar years that isn't, like a Tele Deluxe that I have.
Yeah.
That's not the Tele Deluxe. I've played a 75 Tele Deluxe, like a Fender. It's not the same profile.
No. Well, and that's what.
So there's some differences.
Yeah, that is what's
You know.
interesting with the Japanese stuff, though, too, especially in that era. Because, like, when I first looked into Ibanez in particular, like, at the time, they kind of split. Well, and that's where, like, some of the, like, the Maxon versus Ibanez stuff, like, the Ibanez stuff was the export series. Maxon was all the stuff they were making in-house. But the thing that was interesting to me about it was that when they first started, it was sort of a money grab, but it was also the idea was to fill in the gap because a lot of companies were not basically making enough instruments to suit all the dealers. So you had a dealer in California that was essentially importing Japanese makes of these other things. And eventually, though, it got to where he was demanding that they were basically just a bit better. So in making these copies, eventually they got to where they were making them almost as well, if not as well. So, like, to me, I thought that was kind of an interesting thing where at first it starts off as a cheap kind of fill-in.
Yeah.
And then eventually they get
develops
to,
into
yeah,
something
eventually
else.
as they start, like, taking it serious, it eventually evolved into where they were making, because, like, even, like, that one Gene brought in the other day, it's like that thing has, it's basically a full-on Les Paul. It's got nitro finish.
Mm-hmm.
It's more or less Gibson spec. It had, nub binding, like, the whole thing. Like, it basically hits all the right spots. But it was just interesting to me that it evolved, because usually things go the other way. Like, usually you have, like, slightly better versions of things that are getting kind of subbed in, and then it gets worse as time goes on.
Yeah.
Those got, like, way
Way
better
as it went along.
Yeah.
Well, isn't there like a year where there's no American-made Fenders? They all came out of the Japanese factory.
Oh, that's a good question.
There's like a
That I don't
small.
know.
That I don't know. Yeah, you might look that up.
It's
Cause yeah,
between
that.
CBS and when Bill Scholes.
Oh, like that during that switch. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, and that maybe that was the origin of the Japanese Fenders.
And
Like
that's where Squire came
yeah.
from. And
Hey, so Doc is in here, who says, "Hey, Ike, did you get your syrup hookup from Jim Jam Jimmy?" Yes, I did. Thanks, Doc. I appreciate it. So Doc is a frequent flyer over at the Texas Toast Boys place. So he's built a few guitars with those guys.
Is there a storage of maple syrup that I was not told over there?
I don't know if he sent you any.
No, it's fine.
But so Doc is also builds his own guitars too. So he builds very cool ones. I got one at the house, and I should just bring that in and play because Doc was breaking my balls about it at the Odyssey Brewery. Doc is a Canadian. Okay, so therefore that's why the syrup has come down
It's
from
entered into the yeah.
Great White North. Yes, which is and it's delicious. So thanks, Doc. I appreciate you sending me the syrup. I got it Monday. Yes, Monday because I stopped over at. Was it Monday? Shit, I don't even. No, Wednesday. Was it yesterday? Today was Wednesday. Yesterday was Wednesday.
Yesterday was Wednesday.
Tuesday. Might have been Tuesday. I don't freaking remember. It was sometime this week I got it. Maybe no, it wasn't Monday. Yeah, it was. No, it was. Fuck, I don't remember. My brain is shit. I don't know if.
Chicken egg situation, pancakes, syrup.
Okay, so yesterday it wasn't yesterday, which was Wednesday. So it might have been Tuesday that I popped over there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got it. So it will be used soon for some bland.
Some bland.
Blueberry. I'm having trouble today. Blueberry Kodiak cakes. Eh? Kodiak
Okay, there you go.
kind of goes with this Canadian.
Well, yeah. Kodiak
Maybe.
cakes, like are those like giant, like jumbo
I don't know.
pancakes?
It's a they got
Some random thing. you
It's
got.
a bear. Kodiak cakes pancakes
Okay.
on the box.
Oh.
Blueberry.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. So I'm gonna be having something with that
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Another random thing though, I do wonder like sometimes like again maple syrup. That's one of those things like. I always wonder how things like that get discovered. I wish there was
Because it
somebody.
was probably leaking out of the thing.
well, it's probably
Somebody went. Oop. Oh
Well, that's-
shit.
But
Well,
then,
that's
then who cooked it?
Well, and that's what I mean. Of like, yeah, like
They
one.
probably cooked it to sterilize.
One, there was a dude that went along and was like, I'm gonna lick that tree. And then
Yeah.
yeah.
Totally.
Because I went to that place the other day and I had a great time.
See, but you got to remember. Okay, here's the thing. You know, animals eat shit too. So, okay. So
Well, yeah, you could watch
humans
it, yes.
watch an animal go. Well, he didn't die.
Well, 'cause I'm sure like that's how honey worked.
I
Like,
can
I'm
give
sure
this
that-
a
yeah.
shot and let me
Yeah.
try a little bit. Isn't there a system like you do it on your, you put a little something here, then you try it on your lips before you ever eat anything, so you don't kill yourself by just going, this mushroom looks good. There's ways to test things.
I think the old way.
Bushcraft.
Somebody just had to die. That had to be the way it was.
Bushcraft, I think they call it. I don't know.
Bushcraft.
Bushcrafting. It's like what was when they cut things and put in books? What was the name of that? There was a big popular deal for a while. Scrapbooking.
Well, no, but I know what you mean. Like when people
Bushcrapping.
bush scrapping.
Bush scrapping. Yeah, you know, something like that. Bush scrap.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember but I know what you mean. Cause like my grandma did that, where like a bunch of plants and leaves and shit and pages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So
what
I'm
that's
just
called,
saying,
though.
back then they had more time. They didn't have fucking TikTok, scrolling through dumb shit. They actually went outside and looked at something, going, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can eat it.
Well, that's what I mean. Like I know a lot of things went that way. Specifically though with syrup, like it's an interesting. Like
Somebody had to roll up and go.
Well, like Jacob said though, like
I mean, there's sap.
you had the
and-
one dude that licked the tree, then you had the next dude that somehow collected enough of it to make it a thing, and then you had the other guy that processed it for the first time. So it's like one of those things where I'm always curious. I don't know. I just wonder about stuff like that.
No, I mean the origin. I mean, we can Google a lot of stuff. But the origins of stuff, I get it. You know, like who's the first dude that thought if you suck a frog's ass, you can get high? That was a thing. There was a whole thing for a while that people were getting screwed up on frog asses.
Talking about toad venom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
See?
Licking toads?
See, you know what I'm talking about. It's not like I'm making this up.
It's embedded in truth.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I may have used some colorful words to explain it, but I'm just saying. It's weird shit. People do weird
Yeah.
shit. But yeah, I don't know, you know. Yeah, there are some plants and some things that, yeah, you wonder how it came to be.
Yeah. No, I always wonder that. Or even like that Japanese fish that technically poisons you if you don't cook it
isn't
fast
that a
enough.
blowfish?
Something like that, yeah.
If you cut it wrong.
Yeah, but that's another one
That's
where
Hootie's
I'm
buddy.
like, that's kind of fascinating to think of like,
Hootie's revenge.
yeah, Hootie's, yeah. Darius Rucker's revenge.
Yeah.
Just say-
Yeah, see, syrup is way better than toad ass. It's just Doc knows what's going
Yeah,
on.
no, I'd agree. I think we're all in agreement on that.
Yeah. All right, let's.
As a doctor, I would take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's start.
All right, so yeah, we main thing we basically chose two companies that are carried by Mass Distro, in addition to Thorpe, which we were talking about earlier. But the main one we wanted to test out was we've had the Citadel in before, but the Limelight is new to us. And then we also have 2 Carolina effects going. We've got the Arigato and the Meteor. Is that how you say it? Did I say it right?
I say meteore, but I think you might. I don't know if there's an A at the end.
I don't know how French it is, so I'm gonna leave that last E out
Meteore.
of the
Meteore.
Meteor.
I
Meteore.
think that's it. Actually,
Oh.
meteor.
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 But anyway, that one's a fun one. We have done that one before,
Hold the
but
door.
it's always a fun one.
All right, let's crank some of this shit up.
All right.
And yeah, the Citadel was recently seen on Uncle Larry's Tom Bukovac's board.
Oh. I just watched a video of his this morning. That's really weird that with Robert Baker.
He's got them every day.
I've never watched the guy. That's the whole thing. I've never seen him.
Oh,
And it
yeah.
was
I watch him all the time.
so Robert Baker popped up. I'm like, "Oh, what's
What's Baker up
what's
to?
Baker up to?" And then it was this guy and I go, "I don't know who this guy is."
Oh,
But he started playing and I go, "I need to watch more of whatever he's doing."
yeah.
And I watched the whole video, and they were talking about EQs and stuff like that. And it's funny because he was going to play. He's like, "Yeah, I got to do this, go to the studio, and I got to sit in with these guys over at the Ryman." I'm like, tough shit there, huh?
Oh, and thanks, Doc, too. I appreciate that because I was gonna say the last syrup he brought was awesome. So it
Is
kind
that
of
the one in the?
yeah,
the
like
jug,
one. It
the-
was
the
really
beige
it
jug?
was really good.
Because that's it. That's what I got.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the stuff he had last time. Well, it's one of those things like you can't kind of ever go back to the.
To table syrup. is
That's what I mean. Like
table
you can't go
syrup.
back to
I learned that
shit.
from.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like
I
after
think I
you
learned
have
that
the real
from Ben
stuff.
and Amanda Coombs. That
Yeah.
there's syrup and then there's table syrup,
syrup.
which is like Aunt Jemima type shit.
Yeah, because that's what like you literally can't go back to that shit after having the real stuff. Like,
cannot.
it just doesn't. Yeah. All right. So let's dial in a little bit of reverb and then we'll add the Citadel and Limelight to the mix.
I've got to get a little bit of.
This is one of the few that I have not been able to really get in the Mercury. All right. So you want to start with the Limelight or the Citadel? The Limelight is.
What is it? Limelight kind of based on, or
I don't know what it's particularly based on. It was made for. Jacob's gonna look it up in a second. It was somebody's like I don't know if it was a signature drive for a band or for a particular person. The idea though was to have a very like kind of pop punk.
Touche amour.
Touche amour. Okay. The idea was to have a very like crisp kind of pop punk drive tone, but it honestly ends up. It was one of those ones where like even like Goots tried it and really liked it, but it's kind of got that like almost like a really driven Vox kind of thing.
oh, okay,
Like really crispy.
okay.
Extra crispy.
Janice Lala says I'm okay having pancakes tonight. I'm like, not to bring it up. I might actually have pancakes for
Well,
dinner.
and it was funny too, cause like, yeah, I know. I was
Ain't
gonna say,
nobody
it
gonna
sounds
stop
really
me.
good. Yeah.
Dave's gonna eat kibble and I'm gonna have pancakes.
So it's in the Bluesbreaker family.
Oh, okay.
Loosely made.
I was gonna say it's got to be pretty loose, cause like it very much has more of like a voxy kind of crispy quality to it. We got electronic audio experiments actually in the chat. That's kind
Ah,
of nice.
sweet. What's happening, everybody?
Hopefully
Good
it's
to see
John.
you.
I'm sure it's probably John, but don't want to assume. Yeah, I was very, very pleasantly surprised by the one today. Okay, yeah, there you go. There you go.
Nice.
To me, it feels a lot crisper than like Blues Breaker adjacent, but it feels a lot tighter. Now we add the boost. That sounds great.
Yeah, I think that sounds pretty good.
Nice. You guys really filling it out. That's pretty good. Yeah, I thought it was John, so hey, John. Great pedals, by the way, obviously.
Yeah. I think John's coming out here in August or.
Oh, yeah, is he
for
coming
the,
back?
Ghost Canyon.
Yeah, because
thing. So,
I felt bad last time he was here. I didn't get I got to talk to him for like maybe 5 minutes.
yeah, and hopefully, maybe next year for the Gear Expo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just something to think about. I'll contact you about it. All right. Most favorite guitar in the shop. Still don't know why this thing's.
I know. That's what I was gonna say. It works really well for like that real kind of.
I try to hear it like, imagine it with a drummer and a bass player, you know, thumping along.
Yeah.
And like finding that spot in the mix sounds like it would be right there too. Oh, we can't do both of us on this one. Yeah. You gotta get the G20 in.
It's got a very immediate kind of, because like to me, like blues breakers usually have that, but they kind of they usually kind of squish out a little bit, not a lot. Like this one's very like tight.
I dig
Yeah,
it.
it's a good one. All right, over to the Citadel now. After a quick tuning refreshment.
Yeah, just to, yes. After this quick Grateful Dead song. All right. What do we got here?
All right, so the Citadel, I believe, is more in the Marshall family, as far as I know.
Marshall in the box.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blues Breaker is also Marshall.
Well, yes, technically, yes. Yeah, this is more directly related to the amp rather than a pedal. That sounds really good too, though. touchscreen on this batch is really nice
Currently available from EAE, so you gotta get them from us.
too. Oh, are they already sold back out again?
Yeah. Little funkier, little washier.
There's gonna be a
version.
funky jailbreak.
There's gonna be some throw up somewhere in this street.
Got the phaser in just the right spot for the whirl.
How's it sound with the boost from the limelight?
Yeah, boost.
You're like right in that territory.
Yeah. It- you definitely get some 80s.
Oh yeah.
Just rewriting the whole tune. I don't know. It's the phaser.
Sounds pretty inspiring.
As soon as you put some phaser in there.
I kind of like how subtle the arigato is.
Well, right now it's on. Back on.
It's so subtle. It's almost like it's not on.
I was like, but I really like it.
It's so subtle. It's almost like it's not even there.
Now it's back on. But yes.
I dig it. I like this guitar too, though.
Yeah.
This thing's kind of.
That's all 3 gain stages together.
I don't know what the fuck that was, but.
There's
All right.
like a thick, loose, juicy bottom there.
Ooh, hip bottoms.
Yeah, that's actually.
Well, that's nice. I'm gonna say sorry, old welcome. It's very thick and juicy.
It kind of, I mean, it kind of does like the early metallic.
Eat your pizza. Don't watch it drink. Eat that muffins. Where's our pizza? Watch it drink. That sounds really good. All of that together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. It's got that. I mean, both of them together kind of hits that
Yeah.
classic, which I mean makes sense. That's what most of that stuff was written on, classic Marshall sound. So
I think it sounds real solid.
yeah,
So if anybody needs them, set up so we can both play. We gotta get that set up again because that was fun. I mean, who was there? I was putting up the panels. The guy came in, so I got him set up right here. Kind of worked with him a little bit because I was already in the room. He got a nice deal too. Well, it was used and scratched.
Yeah, all the good 80s stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to just do that. I'm just saying
Right,
it's,
it could do
nice
anything.
and tight. Yeah, I was just saying it can
Right.
do a lot more than just that, but it hits that spot pretty.
It does have a
pretty
nice, does have a nice bottom.
And we're right up on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
the hour, the top of the hour.
Yeah.
That's a nice sag at the bottom. We're right on it. We're right on his bottom. Right on the bottoms. All right. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. If you're interested in any of the Caroline stuff or this stuff from EAE, come on over, stop at the shop, check us out on the website, all that good stuff. Yeah, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.